What's up, guys? I'm the Nearsighted Gamer. Thanks for coming to see me. Well, E3 2018 is over and done, and we've had our highs and we've had our lows. There were several good games announced, and there were several games that really didn't resonate with too many people. Pretty much, we got, an all around mixed bag. The good, the bad, the ones that are in the middle. There are several games that people were looking forward to and that finally got announced, and now they have confirmation. And there were games that came out that people had no idea were on the horizon and actually were kept a secret this year and were actually surprises to many people. We got to see all the press conferences, and some of them were as expected, some of them were surprises. We didn't really know what to expect from any of them, but we knew what we wanted, and I guess it's safe to say that we everybody won with this E3. So that that's a plus, right? I mean, that's all we can expect. Good games, good announcements, good fun. Everybody had a good time. More information, just that's what we want from E3, and that's what we got. But every game wasn't, great or something that everybody wanted. And there's a lot of people who didn't get things they wanted, and there's people who got things that they didn't know that they wanted as well. But for me, every game wasn't, something that stuck out to me. There are only a few, and I put together a list. So I wanted to talk about 10 games that stuck out to me from E3 2018. They're in no particular order, but I will be pointing out the game, the ones that were my favorite, most favorite off the list, and the one that was my least favorite, but they're all definitely my favorite. The first game that I'm going to talk about is actually the one that was the biggest surprise for me, and the one that, shockingly enough, is I guess I would say not game of show, but the game that had me most excited after coming out of E3. Mainly because it was a game that I wanted so bad, and I kind of given up hope of ever getting it. But when I saw the trailer for it, I was super hyped. Like, oh wow, I can't wait to play this game. It comes from Nintendo. It's Super Mario Party. I have a long history with Mario Party going back to the GameCube. I didn't play it on 64, but on GameCube, it's something that me and my family and my friends have played several hours, like plenty of hours, like several 50 turn matches, 50 turn games, and just having awesome, super fun nights. The whole losing friendships and thing, like, stealing stars at the last moment, stealing coins and making it where people just can't get stars at the end. Like, it's great. It's super fun. And now it's finally going to be on the Nintendo Switch. So that's great. It's going to be portable now. Apparently, you're able to connect switches and there's a mode where you can connect your two switches to each other, and they can interact. Don't know how that's going to work for actual mini games as well, but the modes that they've shown already do seem pretty cool. But I'm just excited to have it on Switch. That's the perfect place for it. Portable Mario Party. I mean, I know it was on DS, but portable Mario Party with the functionality of the Switch is something that really needed to happen, and I'm glad it's going to happen. It's going to be out on October 5th, which is just right around the corner, in my opinion. I'll definitely be picking this up, and wow, super hyped about Super Mario Party, man. I mean, it's a game that a lot of people are like, well, I guess they did make a Mario Party, but for me, Mario Party really sticks out, and it's probably my favorite game that I saw released from E3, which I don't know what that makes you think of me or what that says about me, but hey, I love me some Mario Party. The next game that's coming out is a game that we've heard a lot about lately, with it being shown in Game Informer and it's a game that I'm pretty sure everybody's looking to play. And after this year, we got a lot more. We got a really meaty demo of it. Got to see more villains involved and get to see more gameplay. It's Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man from PlayStation. It comes out sometime in September, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, I'm interested in Spider-Man. I mean, who isn't? It's Spider-Man. It looks really good. It looks like it plays well. Everybody who talks about it talks about how well the combat is and how well Spider-Man moves. It's done by Insomniac, who they're known for good platforming with Ratchet and Clank, and they're known for their creative weapons from Ratchet and Clank as well. I don't know how much the weapon creation aspect will, add to Spider-Man, because he's not mainly known for his weapons and gadgets. He has some, but he's not known for anything like super out there. It all is going to make sense. So I would think that the platforming and the maneuverability skills that they're known for would be something that would, influence this game more, as well as the storytelling. They do tell good stories as well. But with it being Spider-Man, they have a lot to pull from. And I'm really interested to see where the story's going to go. They introduce a lot of villains, like I said, but we don't know where the narrative is going to go, who's going to be the main focus. It seems like it's going to be Mr. Negative, but we don't know, because that was just the first one they showed. With this introducing several others, it could focus on, Green Goblin, which a lot of people don't want, because that's usually how it goes. It could be Doc Ock, maybe the Sinister Six, which would be great, because there would be a definite variety, and you would know that you would know like how much game you would have, because you would have the variety of levels and areas and sections, I'm sure, involving each of those villains. But once again, Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is going to be involved somehow. I'm really interested to play this one, and the web slinging, from what I hear and everybody talks about, it being so dynamic, and it actually draws back to Spider-Man 2, which I didn't play, but Spider-Man 2 apparently had the best web slinging in all of the series. So it goes back to that. Everybody's liking it. I can't wait to play it as well. It's going to be out in September, if I'm not mistaken. So looking forward to that. Next up is Death Stranding, a game that we don't know a whole lot about. All we know is that it's made by Kojima, and Kojima makes weird games. Well, we do know a little bit more. We know it stars Norman Reedus. There's some sort of time traveling aspect. Infant babies are involved. Invisible creatures who leave human handprints whenever they walk. That's the extent of what we know. We know that it's going to be out eventually, and we got a deep dive into it on Sony's press conference, which they said they were going to, and they showed another trailer, and it kind of told us about it. We got some gameplay of it with Norman Reedus just walking around delivering bodies and pulling off toenails and stuff like that. We didn't quite know that it involved time travel, or I wasn't aware of that until this, which now that makes me way more interested, because anything having to do with time travel really has my attention, and that being involved with Kojima's style of storytelling is something that really interests me. Again, we don't know a whole lot. We don't know the complete story about this. We just know what it's going to involve. It has the makings to be really cool. People are saying that there's going to be some sort of social aspect to it involving with the game. Again, though, it's Kojima, so we have no idea where this game is going. It's going to be done when it's done, and if I had to say, I would say this game is probably going to be done around 2020 at the earliest. and that's once again at the earliest. So it it has a lot of weird aspects. It looks really good, of course, and I just don't know yet. I'm interested due to the time travel, but um I don't have much more to say. We're slowly but surely getting pieces of it. I just it has my interest based on curiosity, but I can't say that anything else in it really has me uh in a hurry to play it. But I definitely will, of course, because it's going to be great. I can guarantee you it has the makings of it. But all that's pretty much all I can add to it, because we didn't get too much more except for just that, okay, a little bit of gameplay. So, but we don't know what we're going to be doing in this game just yet. We'll find out in 2025, sometime in our lifetime. That's how Kojima games go. The next game I'm going to talk about is called Control. It's a game that was a surprise and actually didn't leak. It's from Remedy, the makers of Quantum Break, which was one of my favorite games. It's one of the reasons that I purchased my Xbox One. And that was a game involving time travel. Big surprise. But this one seems to involve a a character named Jessie who works for this Bureau of Control, and she becomes the director whenever she takes possession of the former director's gun, which can change shape and morph into different types of guns. And you explore what they're calling the oldest house, which is a house that changes forms as well, shape shifts. You're exploring it. It's a place that also holds these artifacts, which are deemed too dangerous to be out in the world, and they have to constantly be monitored. They're the game seems like it has you get supernatural powers, and you can like levitate. You can make things move. You can I think set things on fire. I might be lying about that last one, but that just seems like something to go along with all the rest of it. But you're able to use your powers to make it through the world. Once again, and you're changing the shape and the form of the house as you go through it. So the game takes place in just this one location. So you're going through different sections and different parts of this house, trying to find out what happened to the past director, if I'm not mistaken, and the other members of the bureau who I think have come up missing. And you're there trying to figure out what happened and make sense of everything, and also make your way through this house safely and figure out just what's going on, pretty much. Once again, Remedy is known for pretty good gameplay. You can see remnants of Quantum Break gameplay involved in here, which is also what interested me. The graphics are great with the way things shift and change and all that. I can't say anything for the music yet, but this game is coming out in 2019, so I will definitely be on the lookout for it. Luckily, it is not a platform exclusive, even though it was shown on Microsoft stage. That made me happy. I look forward to playing it, and I can't wait to see what the oldest house has in store. Transference. This is a game that was teased, I think, at last year's E3. Elijah Wood is involved. I don't know if it's a game studio he has, but he has some company which is involved in the creation of this game. It's a psychological horror type game where I think you're playing as this son who was put into this device or this machine by his father, and you are trying to make sense of, I guess, what happened to your family, or make your way through this house, something like that. That's just the point. You don't know exactly what's going on, but the way they showed a new trailer this year, which gave a little more insight into it. You got to see more gameplay, or some gameplay, I should say, and it had that effect that really interested me. Like, the way, the what you see may not actually be there. You can't trust your eyes. You don't know what's real and what's not real. And of course, there's going to be jump scares and stuff like that. It's supposed to be something that really messes with your mind. I know that it's in VR, but you can also play it regularly. It's on PS4 as well. You don't need VR to play it. It's one of those weird games that everybody's wondering, and it has everybody's attention. It looks really cool, and I can't wait to possibly get the crap scared out of me. If I do, then I'm sure I'll make sure you guys are able to see it. But it's something that I want to try, despite not knowing too much about it. But I know from what I already seen that I'm already interested. Like, even if I didn't see anything else from it, then I would still want to play it. That's how much I'm already interested in the game. So, Transference, yeah, definitely stuck out to me from E3. Alright, next up is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This is a game that was also leaked as well. We've known about the title of this game for quite some time. And as far as the rebooted Tomb Raider series, I've played the previous two. The first one I had, it was the first game I got whenever I got my PS4, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was really cool. I don't currently still own it, but I have the second one, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I've beaten them both, of course, and they're really cool. I like the way that they've done. I like what they've done with these two games so far. The way they went with it. Laura is much more of a grounded character. She's not objectified. She's going through things. You see her make her way to be the Tomb Raider that she's been known for, is what they're saying. This is the third in the trilogy. So after this, she should, she'll be where we've known her to be and how we've come to see Laura in the past. This is gonna finalize that plateau that they've been referring to. The way they're talking about this one is there's more of a stealth aspect to it. You're able to use stealth and hide amongst enemies and surprise them. I like that about games. I like games that allow you to be stealthy when possible. If I'm in a game and I'm able to actually sneak up on an enemy and take them out stealthily, but I don't have the option, I still have to engage in actual combat, that doesn't make any sense. If you're able to do it without being detected, you should be able to in a game, period. That's just simple. That's the only way that makes sense. And they're focusing on this a lot. The story is, Laura, I think, somehow jump starts some sort of apocalypse involving the Mayans. I think she takes something that she shouldn't, which causes really big problems, and she has to fix it. So you still have, your typical, your crafting that you're known for in Tomb Raider, your different weapons, bow and arrows, your guns, and all that. It's just really, it's continuing the style of gameplay that this series has been known for, and I've liked it so far. It has progressed from the first one to the second one. I really liked the second one. The first one was good, but the second one, I really did like that one. And with this one, you have your grappling hook now, and they're throwing in some new techniques that seem to be something that was needed in the game and may fit as well. I'm really interested to play it, and I was already going to play it before this, but I'm glad to see more. Glad to see how they've incorporated new things into the game, and I can't wait to play it for myself and get my hands on it. Cyberpunk 2077. Okay. The next game from CD Projekt Red, who is known for the Witcher series and who makes really good RPGs. With The Witcher, there's no way. I mean, I didn't complete The Witcher 3, but I played it, and the scope of that game, the scale, the way the quests work, the design of the game itself was great. So to see that put into a more steampunk, technological type world is something that interests me and that interests a whole lot of other people. It was rumored that this game was going to be at E3 and everybody was looking forward to it. They showed it on Microsoft stage and all we got was an extended trailer, but that was enough to just see the world and the way it was. And having The Witcher in mind with what they did with that and just thinking about that put into this world is something that has everybody's attention. Everybody's excited for. This game has been in development for quite a while, but it's not like they haven't been doing anything. It's just that grand of a game that's going to take that much time, and it's going to take they haven't been doing nothing this entire time. It's just a testament to how big the game is and how much is going to be involved. I've heard people talk about playing a demo of it. So, and they talk about how you're getting upgrades to yourself, eyes, which increase your sight, so I'm pretty sure strength is going to be involved. There's no telling how much is going to go into, modifications for yourself, how the story is going to be, if the side quests are anything like the way it was in The Witcher. You can get lost in this game. And I can't wait to do so. It's going to be fantastic. I'm not one of the ones who was aware of this game in the very beginning. The small teaser trailer that we've been, dealing with for several years, I wasn't even aware of until, a few years afterwards. But after seeing it and hearing people talk about it and knowing it's from CD Projekt Red, who at this point can do no wrong because they know how to make games. They know how to treat gamers. They know how to treat players and what players want. So we know there's not going to be anything like microtransactions or loot boxes or any of that crap that ruined gaming or almost ruined gaming in 2017. We can expect quality from this game, and they can take pretty much as long as they need to, because there's no doubt whenever this game comes out, it's going to be fantastic. So take your time, get it out. I'll play it when it gets there. Thank you. All right, next is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This game was teased at the Game Awards of last year, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I know it was at the Game Awards. It was a very, very short teaser with just, a mechanical device of some kind that was like slightly bloody, tensing and tightening up, and all they said was Shadows Die Twice, and we knew it was from Software, who is known for the Soul series and Bloodborne and those games like that. A lot of people were wondering if it was going to be Bloodborne 2 or a Tenchu game because they currently own the license. I was in that camp. I was so hoping it was going to be a Tenchu game. And also, some people also thought it was going to be a new IP. That's what it ended up being. It ended up being Sekiro, which when I was watching it, I was thinking Tenchu because of the swordplay and there were slight stealth aspects, but I wasn't completely invested in it being Tenchu because it wasn't a ninja game. It wasn't dark enough. There wasn't enough stealth and ninja aspects being shown. There was definitely swordplay, and it seemed more samurai-esque than ninja-esque. And so I was happy about the game in general when I was watching it, but I was like, if it is Tenchu, the way it went wouldn't be what I wanted. It was way too bright. I mean, there wasn't very much nighttime or darkness in it, but the gameplay looks cool. You are playing as this assassin or warrior. I don't know, ninja, mm, something like that, who has a not necessarily prosthetic arm, but mechanical left arm that allows him to grapple. He can extend it, pull himself towards, grab enemies, grab objects, uses a grappling hook itself to traverse the environment and fight as well. And you can, what I'm seeing by the name of Shadows Die Twice and in the gameplay is you have 2 times to die. You can die twice or something like that, or maybe whenever you die the first time, you're using your shadow, I guess. I don't know. Your shadow's what you're fighting with, and you have to reclaim your body, something like that. I mean, but yes, dying twice is a big part of the game. It seems you have 2 deaths, but I'm liking the gameplay. But it being from software, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be definitely brutal gameplay. Tends to be hard, more hardcore, not necessarily a walk in the park, which I'm cool with. I've never been into any of the Soul series, but that's mainly because of the look, or just the era. That didn't really interest me, but this is more grounded in something stable, something that I'm used to. So if you take that and add it with the gameplay that they're known for, and even the slightly challenging difficulty, I'm cool with that. I like the swordplay and all those aspects of it. From what I saw, I'm definitely interested in playing it. It's not Tenchu, and maybe we'll get a Tenchu soon. I would love that, but I'll play this I'll play this until that happens. So yeah, Sekiro, can't wait. All right, next is We Happy Few. I said that this list wasn't in any necessary order, and it's not. But this would probably have to be, out of the games I chose and picked through, the one that's at the bottom of the list, and that's because of the excitement that I've had for it is slowly draining. It's been out for a long time, and whenever it was at the height of its hype, I was all in for it. There's this world where everyone is fed joy pills to, fake their happiness and cause them to believe believe that the world is more pure and more happy than it actually is. And when in reality, it's terrible. It's a terrible world. So they're trying to they're forcing the public to believe that the world isn't the way that it actually is, to just get them to believe it's just the government or the society, the authority trying to make the public believe that the world is a better place than it actually is, when in reality it is not. It's horrible. It's a terrible place, and you're someone who chooses to go against that, and you're trying to, I believe, show the world that the world isn't what they think, and they have to notice that and do something about it, and not just go on day by day in this falsified reality. They have to realize that things are worse than they believe and do something about it, and not just let it go on being like that. And again, I was hyped about this whenever I saw it back when everybody else was, but they've had some problems and things happen. I think the game was probably supposed to be out by now, and it's not. They're still showing things. I don't think it's going to be this year. Maybe next year, I hope. But it's it's giving a lot of people Bioshock vibes, which was great, like Bioshock 1 vibes. That game was great. So if this game can, hit some of those notes, bring back some of those feelings from whenever I was playing Bioshock 1, then I'm all for that. And it looks like it. I'm interested in the story as well. How bad is the world? Who is responsible for manufacturing this joy is what they're calling it. What what are you gonna do to get everyone back? And if you do so, how is it going to affect the world as a whole whenever the realization that what they've been believing all this time isn't actually true? How is that going to affect everyone? Just wow, so many questions. See, I mean, I'm excited about that, but they've been kind of cold on information and development times about it. But I still have a spark of interest. So I really want to see what's up with that, and I hope it comes out soon. I really want to play it and see if the vibe for this is true. Because if it does, then I guarantee you I'll have something to talk about after I play it. Okay, this next game is a game that came out of nowhere, and I don't quite know how to feel about, but I can't shake the interest that I have for it. It's called Jump Force, and it looks to be a fighting game from several characters involving the Shonen Jump anime series. The trailer they showed had Naruto from Naruto, Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, Goku as well, and Luffy from One Piece, all engaging in battle. And at the end, they showed Ryuk and Light from Death Note. So it's a 3D fighting game that after Dragon Ball Z coming out, there's not. It's going to be hard to like top that and get any interest away from that game. But the reason I have curiosity is because I want to know what other characters are going to come into play. If they're going to use characters who haven't been in fighting games or that you wouldn't expect to be in fighting games, and having them involved will definitely pique my interest. It being 3D, it doesn't seem like it's going to be. It could be like 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. We don't know anything about it except for that trailer. There are some gameplay videos out there, but I've yet to take a look at those because I'm not super hyped on it enough to take a deep dive on it just yet. But the fact that it exists and that someone has came up with the idea definitely jumps out at me. I completely did. I had no idea this was coming, no idea that it existed. But the fact that someone thought that it would be a good idea, I mean, hey, I don't have any reason to think that it wouldn't be a good idea. I'm not one of those who thinks that 3D is always a bad thing. It's just about how it's implemented in fighting games. There's been good ones and there's been bad ones, but it has a possibility of being great. I mean, the fact that you're mixing all these characters together, first off, because that's interesting and enough. That's interesting itself and enough, but just to see the combinations of fights is going to be something to behold. Now, whether the gameplay is good, whether the game itself will end up being good, is yet to be determined, of course. But I'm definitely willing to give it a try and see if it's something that's worth my time. Okay, now there are a few honorable mentions that didn't actually make my official list. And while they didn't make the list, there's no doubt that these are still on my radar. The first game is The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, I know, not on the list. What the heck was I thinking? The Last of Us was a game that I thoroughly enjoyed playing, and I'm one of those people who wouldn't play it again because it's a complete story. I don't want to touch it again. I'm happy with the way everything I did. I don't want to taint it at all in any way. I want to keep that story itself. But I'm not one of those people who thinks that it was so exceptional, so groundbreaking, such a landmark game. I liked it a lot, and I think it deserved every. I think it deserved the all the reviews that it gotten, but I'm not completely on that bandwagon. And while I'm definitely excited to play The Last of Us Part Two, I feel like it's a game that I'm going to play because I have to, because I don't want to be left behind. Kind of like the way I was playing, like the way I felt when I played Uncharted 4. Or any other Uncharted games actually. I felt like I had to play those so that I would be in the conversation and not be left behind. I enjoyed them as well, but I wasn't, super in a hurry for the next one to come out or to get my hands on it. That's kind of the case with The Last of Us Part 2, because we don't know where this one is going to go, where this one's going to take us. I want to play more of that world, but we don't know how we're going to be playing, what's going to be, driving us forward. I liked seeing what I saw of it, and I liked seeing gameplay finally. That was really cool. It seems to be more of it, but Ellie's now older and she's able to do things other than just like jump on somebody's back and stab the crap out of them with a knife until they fall. She's able to do way more than that now. But it's a game I'm going to keep track of, but I'm not super excited like everyone else is. I know it's going to be good because it's Naughty Dog. That goes without saying. But when it comes out, I'll play it. But it's not something that like I was really excited to see at E3. I'm glad we did see more. That's better than not seeing anything. But it didn't quite make my list, just by a little bit. My next honorable mention game is Ghosts of Tsushima, made by Sucker Punch, who up until this point has been known for the Infamous series, which is one of my favorite series ever. Oh man, I love whenever I got Second Son in, nobody else was home. I got to play it, pop it in. I love that game. I love Infamous 1. Infamous 2 is my favorite out of the series. I could play that game again right now. It did such a good job of improving on 1. I love the story elements. I love the new art style and everything. But it didn't quite make my list, again, because I don't know too much about this game already. The laurels of Sucker Punch and their skills aren't quite enough to pull me back into this game just based on that. I liked what I saw with the lighting and the look of the world, the style of the game. Whenever the fight was taking place, it was really cool because it kind of shifted to a fighting game aspect, a complete horizontal, one-on-one battle mode. And the way the fighting looked, it didn't look like it was, typical, attack, counter, whatever. It seemed like there was a lot more going on involving the fighting. It wasn't just a simple button to button push, counter, attack, counter, block like that. That's just going by what I've seen. And I know that taking what they've done with Second Son and taking what they've done with Second Son and putting it into this world is going to be something to look forward to. But I would be interested in this game just on the fact that Sucker Punch made it. I know it's going to be good, but I haven't been shown enough, because this is only the second time we've seen it. I haven't been shown enough to get me invested in the game itself. So as I see more and as things open up and maybe a little more of the characters and the stories is shown, then maybe it'll be enough to make my actual list. But for now, it's just an honorable mention. The last game on my honorable mention list is Dreams. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't put this on my actual list. Well, I guess I do. Dreams is a game made by Media Molecule, who is known for the Little Big Planet series, which is a series that I really didn't have any love for at all. I'd like to watch, see the levels and stages that people have made. But as far as making it myself, no, I wasn't a fan of that. So whenever they made the next game, I was figuring, more and more of the same thing, which it is and it isn't. You can continue to create, but they vastly increased the scale on which you can make and what you can make. Where, sorry, hold on. They've increased the scale of what you can make and how much you can make. That's better. So you can pretty much make anything. You can do anything involving a game. You can create, you can animate, you can make this point interact with that point. You can add mini games into that. You can do music, you can record, you can export. They've expanded what they did with Little Big Planet to a whole new scale. There's 3D involved, the sculpting, the designing. You can have your things downloaded by other people once you make them. You can get rated. People can follow you, and then as you put things up, they can automatically get what you have and use in their world. They can change the objects that you've created once they download, if you allow them to. There's a whole lot going on here. So why wasn't it on my list? Well, the reason is I don't know when I'm going to be playing it. And I know I said the same thing about Death Stranding, and that was on my list as well. But I would have to say that since this isn't the normal type of game that I would play, I can't put it on my actual list of things that I'm excited about, because it's a style of gameplay that I'm not really used to. But I'm interested in seeing how it's going to be taken by the people who do like this, the creators out there, the modders. I'm excited to see what they do with it, and I'm also excited to get my hands on it as well. But since I'm not used to this, I can't really connect on that level enough to be able to jump into it already. I will, and hopefully this game will be the one that gets me into that type of thing. Maybe this will make it easier for me, so that I will, something that I can, a game that will connect me to that type of gameplay, to where I will be more inclined to play games like that. It's possible, but I definitely want to give this a shot. If this makes it easier than Little Big Planet did, with those super long tutorials that really bored me and made me not want to continue playing the game, then I could find myself being more lost in this game. It seems so cool that you can do all of this stuff. Hearing about what's so much that's possible has me interested in it, but not enough to put it on my list, because I can't relate to it exactly, because I'm not used to it. But hearing about it has me interested, and hopefully whenever it comes out and I get my hands on it, I can get back to you guys and let you know that I'm now a fan of, sandbox games as a whole. But for now, it's just an honorable mention. And there you have it. 10 of my favorite games that came out of E3 2018, along with a few honorable mentions as well. Well, I can say that I'm pretty happy with how this year turned out. It wasn't a complete letdown, and it wasn't one of those, completely exceptional years all around. You got what you pretty much like, each conference did okay in what you expected them to do. So, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, they brought what they said they were going to bring, and there was something there for everybody. There was something there in E3, and there was something there this year for everybody, whether depending on what you liked or not. I didn't talk about a whole lot of shooters, because shooters aren't my thing. Didn't talk about Far Cry or The Division or Battlefield or Call of Duty. All of those were there, and I didn't talk about Forza or The Crew or anything like that, because those aren't my thing. I'm not into racing games. I'm not into shooters. They were all there. Didn't talk about Assassin's Creed which a lot of people are interested in, but not big into Assassin's Creed games. I didn't talk about, things like that. They were there. There were plenty of other games that were there. It covered a wide variety of things, but these are the ones that stuck out to me, that caught my attention, that are on my radar. Things that I plan on playing in the next few years. Sadly, Death Stranding, or just as soon as a couple of months. Spider-Man, Mario Party. But just because they're not on this list doesn't mean that they're not good. They're just not my type of game. And so don't let that, I'm not saying that there wasn't anything else good at E3 except for these. These are just my favorite games. That's all. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I really appreciate it. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe so I can get to 100 subscribers and change my URL. I really appreciate it. Like this video if you like it. If you don't like it anyway, because I said so. I really appreciate that as well. Follow me on Twitter at Nearsighted Gamer, and I also have a Facebook page, which I got to get on that more. Facebook.com/Nearsighted Gamer. And again, thanks for watching. I hope you liked E3. I liked it as well. In the comments, let me know a few of your games that stuck out to you from E3. I mean, I know they don't have to be the same thing I like, but I'm just curious to know what jumped out at you, what you're excited to play in the future. We all got games. Everybody loves games. Gamers won this year, and that's the most important thing. So let me know what interested you and what stuck out and what you're interested in playing and what's coming up for you and your radar and everything. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, be excellent to each other. See you, pupils.